quick for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Having done multi-camera shoots many times.
Yeah.
Now you can sync audio. Usually I do a few because you can see them easily on the timeline.
Awesome. All right, cool. All right, I guess I'll start. Hi, everyone. We're back again for our, I guess this is our fifth, this is our next interview for a distribution class with Jay.
Yeah.
I'm Justin, and
I'm Jay.
I'm Angel.
Hello, I'm Odin.
I'm David.
so we're going to be interviewing Odin today.
And Odin Makes.
And Odin Makes.
So tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, I am Odin. I'm Odin Abbot, and I've been making props and costumes mostly to entertain myself and help some friends with films since basically about 1982. I ended up working with a YouTube channel called Smosh because they used to do production here in Sacramento. And I worked as art department with them for about 2.5 years. And then came back a few times afterwards to help out.
Just making silly props?
Just making silly, the Bat Cave, there's like huge sets sometimes. A lot of it was reusing existing flats and sets, but it was also making new sets from scratch. And then, silly props. The conveyor belt, that was the Kardashian birth machine. I got to make, on down to video game props, including the BFG from Doom and the Penetrator from Saints Row, which they always pixelate out. But got it here if you want to wave around in front of this camera. So that was actually a lot of fun, and one of the big things with that was talking to the different guys that have been working on it forever, because they're going on 11 years now of making content for YouTube. The sound guy really had a big part in getting me inspired to trying to make something for YouTube, basically make my own channel. Because he talked about how they did it a little bit and how they had someone come in early on in the early days of YouTube and really help them out and sign a deal, and all of a sudden they're getting a lot of publicity. I happened to, since I was working with them, their main company, Defy Media, was making a new show called DIY Prop Shop, and I got suggested as a substitute host when their main host was going to leave because he got a better deal somewhere else. And I ended up hosting, I think, 12 of their episodes over the following 1.5 years. And just doing that, and I was like, okay, I need to start my own channel because I could see from the editing coming out of Defy Media that something's changing, something's winding down. The good editors have left. So I really wanted to make my own show, and so I did that just last year.
Did you start off right away doing Odin Makes, or was it a refinement process? Or
My first episode of Odin Makes was, there was very little refinement because I had done 12 episodes of DIY Prop Shop. Okay. And even that one, I had a formula to follow because the previous guy, Dustin, had done 8 or 10. So I simplified what I was doing for DIY Prop Shop. The big part of that was everything was on camera. I'm doing a step, I'm explaining the step, and I'm trying to get everything built and doing it all kind of in one take and make sure that when it gets edited, and I was the guy that had to edit it, everything would actually make sense. For Odin Makes, I eliminated the trying to talk on camera except for when I'm inspired, and I do everything as voiceover. And that sped up the editing a lot.
Yeah. So how has it evolved over?
How's it evolved?
Yeah.
Well, Odin Makes has evolved in that initially I was trying to make something that the episodes would be really quick. I was trying to set myself a goal of like 7 minutes, 6 minutes. They're up to 16 now.
Is that a problem, or
no?
It's
just more post-production work.
Do you follow the metrics? Do you have like fall off after a period of time?
Immediately. You get your baseline of what's going on, and then you release a video, and then it comes right back down. And the fall off is maybe 24 to 48 hours. Mm-hmm. And on occasion, when I do something big that ties into like a Marvel movie is the best ones, that fall off will take a lot longer, like maybe 5 or 6 days until it settles back down to the baseline, wherever it's at.
How about your...
It almost looks like a heartbeat.
A regular heartbeat.
A regular heartbeat.
Yeah. So tell us about your audience following, and then what did you build up for that, or?
I did a little. Thankfully, having done a little bit with Smosh and appearing in the behind the scenes there, and then having done DIY Prop Shop, I had a small bit of an audience. On my own channel, I still kind of had to build it up. After 4 or 5 months, I was allowed to actually do a toss from DIY Prop Shop to Odin Makes, and that was the biggest single spike of subscribers that I got. But most of it came later on when I was doing like the Infinity Gauntlet and the Hellboy props, because those got picked up by, what do you call them? Not quite site aggregation sites, but there's different sites that will pick up something and then share it with their audience.
Yeah.
And so, like I know Laughing Squid was a big one, and then another one that I can't pronounce because it's Spanish. So I'm trying to get subtitles made to actually accommodate my Spanish audience.
So those actually help you.
And those actually helped because through the metrics, I can see that those sites was bringing traffic to my channel. And I could see that as I have my fall off, there'd be a sudden smaller peak because those other sites would suddenly post it, the bump.
Interesting.
In fact, CNN.com gave me a bump once for, I think, the Hellboy, Right Hand of Doom.
So they get, I guess, in essence, ratings, and you get ratings too.
Right, but
Wow.
it's also just bringing my video to another larger, different audience who otherwise wouldn't be looking. Because as it is, I'm almost relying on search engines more than anything else. And so a big part of my titles is always using what, I'm trying to be very honest with my titles. It's always Odin Makes Star-Lord's helmet from Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's my title. But I've got Star-Lord and Guardians of the Galaxy as part of the title, which would be really good for hitting in kind of a search engine. Yeah.
Okay.
And then in the tags, I'll include things like prop and DIY, how to cosplay. So hopefully the two of those will help drive search engine results.
So tagging. What other kinds of tricks and tips would you give to somebody who's trying to start their own YouTube channel?
The big one is, as soon as you can, figure out what it is that you want to do. Don't flounder around too much. I mean, you have the time to do it to begin with, but figure out what you want to do, and then make sure you put out content on a regular basis. Smosh made it a point to always put out a video on whatever the release date was. That date changed as time went on, but every week they put out a video, and they banked ahead. They were usually working 4 or 5 weeks ahead, and they panicked when they were only 1 week ahead to try and get something finished. I try to release every 2 weeks.
So in the days of binging, it's still important to have regular content?
In the days of binging, it's still important to have regular content released on a regular date. And it's not just for the viewers. I think part of the YouTube metrics actually sees you're putting out regular content, and so that it will promote your channel. And from what I've heard, weekly is the best. I just don't have, between spending half a work week trying to build something and then another 20 hours or more in edit, I don't have the time to put one out a week. Because I still have a day job too.
So, well, your day job, you're an editor at the PBS affiliate, KVA. Tell us about the differences between distributing on YouTube versus distributing for broadcast. And even broadcast is changing.
And even broadcast is changing. PBS also has its own flavor and stats that it wants to meet, which I think is a little bit more restrictive than broadcast, as far as where the levels for your final video has to be set, where your audio levels have to be, what's your video level, 100 IRE, nothing over, has to be. That should be the same as broadcast, but I think their audio is good. YouTube.
So there's TOS standards for.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Was
For
it
web?
PBS Redbook?
Okay.
For web? Well, PBS tries to do the same stuff for web. It tries to have the same type of standards for web. Actual YouTube, no, there's no standards.
Okay.
Another big example I would give for someone trying to start out is to buy a microphone. Buy a microphone, buy a light, buy a tripod. Because anymore, I get to a YouTube channel where someone's trying to hold their phone and do something with their offhand. It's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
That was me 2 days ago. Unboxing the microphone I just got. So tell us a little bit about your setup.
So I set up here.
Is this evolved or?
This has evolved. This has evolved 3 different times at 3 different locations. I've always tried to have the one camera that's pointing down. So that's the down shot. So that's the cooking show shot, because ultimately I am doing a cooking show. I'm just cooking props instead of brownies or whatever. I started out with a cameraman. I've always had one tripod camera directly in front of me, and then I usually had one to one of the sides.
Okay.
And then the cameraman would roam around, and there's always just 3 to start with. So I think the cameraman was moving to the sides, and the other one was always pointing down. So I always had them mounted to the ceiling. I moved to a second studio, and I ended up putting 2 cameras from side to side, because when I started trying to do something twice a month, I wasn't able to, hey, can you come over and hold a camera for free? It'll be fun. I'll buy a hamburger when we're done. So I started using more tripods and setting things up. When I finally got here, decided I needed a lighting grid. I wanted everything off the table because I was tired of kicking tripods. I was tired of bumping the table and having things move. So I've got 3 small cameras mounted to the grid, as well as we set up lights, and it's all controlled from one light switch over there. So I just turn it on, and all of the grid and the power for the cameras. Yeah, and the show's pretty much ready to go. I've got the 2 soft boxes. Those, of course, are their own thing. And
teleprompter?
I've got a teleprompter.
You need a prompter?
I need a prompter when I'm doing my. I don't need a prompter when I'm doing my own thing, but I need a prompter when I'm doing my spiels when I actually get sponsors, which is really cool. Now that I'm 140,000 subscribers in, and I've got, with the Affinity Gauntlet, there's 1 million hits practically. I'm actually getting sponsors. Skillshare sponsored this video as well as Cosplay Sky, which Cosplay Sky requested the head. Or the helmet, I should say, and then Skillshare, offered a sponsorship deal, which is awesome. One sponsorship deal pays more than a paycheck at the PBS station, usually.
That's
interesting
fantastic.
information.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the monetization options.
Okay.
Because with broadcast, if you were to make a show, if you were to do this show for broadcast, what would be the monetization? You would sell it?
For broadcast, you have one tricky thing, which I think it would still work out okay, and that's everything's copyrighted. So monetizing on the copyright thing, that's a little iffy. It would still probably be okay because ultimately I'm not advertising that I'm making the prop for the movie.
Right.
So I'm not claiming to do I'm showing how to do it my way so you can do it at home. Other than that, let's see, how much broadcast have I done?
But if you were to sell the show, how would you recoup money if you were to sell it with broadcast?
The only way that I know to do it locally, unfortunately, is to do it as an infomercial.
Yeah.
Because
Buy
there's time
block
slots.
time?
Yeah, buy block time or do
then
a little bit
ads.
of comp time and sell ads.
Yeah.
And then I would actually be responsible for doing all that, and the station would want their cut.
That's a lot of work on
And
top
that's a lot
of
of
it,
work,
so,
yeah.
But you're doing through YouTube.
I'm doing it through YouTube.
So what are some of the strategies for monetization through YouTube?
So,
We're under attack.
you're under
I
attack.
think it's leading a little bit. It sounds like it to me.
Right. You worried about that? Yeah, cut. So the monetization for YouTube is actually, in effect, easy. You click a box. You have an option of turning on pre-roll ads, and you can also turn on what's called mid-roll ads. So if your video is running longer than 10 minutes, it'll selectively pick a point and insert an ad midway through whatever your video is.
That's the time I usually thumb down on Facebook when the ads start.
Right.
What do you do?
I don't do mid-roll ads because I don't like them. I let the pre-roll ads play, as well as there's little banner ads that can pop up around the monitor. That doesn't cover over it, but it's Google ads, and so I turn all those on. And at this point, you have to have, I think, something. It was when I started, I didn't need much of anything in order to, even though it was just a year ago, to monetize. Now you need something like 10,000 lifetime views, which still isn't too hard to get to.
That's true. I started a separate channel for my film to do the trailer, and I thought you could start monetizing right away, but I know you need to start with the 10,000. So
okay, yeah. And then there's a few other things they check, but it's not hard to do, and you just stick with it, and you'll get there. It's just set up so people can't grab someone else's movie trailer, put it up on their site, and click monetize.
Right.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, they changed their formula. They kind of hosed a lot of YouTube providers. Were you impacted by that, or?
No, because when they did that last year, I was still so new, it didn't really matter.
Okay.
the adpocalypse.
The
Adpocalypse, yeah. I came on right at the Adpocalypse.
Yeah.
Maybe I may have been on like a month or two beforehand.
Yeah.
And all 19 cents that I had earned wasn't really that impacted.
You almost were able to buy a couple?
Almost.
Almost. So I never worried about it because it didn't really affect me.
And there's sponsorship that you can. How did you get sponsors? Did you reach out? Did they come to you?
I tried reaching out to a couple locally, and nothing, which is understandable.
Yeah.
They actually came to find me, and what I think is happening is effectively brokers or agents who are a middleman between whoever they are and then me. is coming along saying, hey, let's do this. This company wants to have something put up by this time. And
That's good.
yeah, and so all of them have come to me so far. And I think it's a lot of it has to do with subscriber base and viewer base. Especially in October, November of 2007, I had a lot of viewers every month. For some reason, it's tapered off. I'm not sure if monetizing my videos, like I have been doing, affected my viewership, affected the Google ad algorithms or not. But there's definitely a decline with the instant the video coming up between me not having anything in October and in the beginning of January. Now I know Christmas happened in there, and there's a big change, but it was a huge drop just for the Google dollars.
What do you think about Facebook? It's the elephant in the room.
It's the elephant, is it? I kind of ignore it. I am not terribly excited about Facebook. I'm not excited about Facebook because I don't see any way of monetizing anything on Facebook. I've kind of agreed with a number of online comics that aren't terribly nice, saying that if something is free, then you're the product. So if I put up a video on Facebook, I don't see how I'm going to recoup anything from doing that. I mean, I'll get some views, but there's no monetization from Facebook that comes back to me. And having a page and having videos that put up, and I still will put up like an advert type, like a trailer or something else on Facebook. And I'll get ads from Facebook telling me, hey, for only $5, you're reaching to 300 people. It's like, I just reached 2,000 in the last hour on YouTube, and they're paying me. So it's not.
Have you done any like affiliate linking or anything like that, or tried with a video or something?
Unfortunately, I'm not quite sure. Affiliate linking.
Oh, so I guess an easy one's like Amazon affiliate. So you would have you'd set up with Amazon. You would have your own link, and whenever they click the link in your description. In the cookies, whenever they buy something on Amazon, you get a little bit of kickback. Have you tried that?
I tried setting that up, but I didn't have a full website to support it. So
That's
when
one thing
Amazon
I've
finally
known,
checked out,
okay.
Amazon eliminated it.
Yeah.
I've had another broker come along and tell me, hey, do the affiliate program, and I haven't heard anything back from that.
Okay.
So I need to start up OdinMakes.com and actually have a real web page.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Okay.
So what are your plans for the future?
I'll have a web page. Right now, I want to just continue what I'm doing. I've actually come quite a way in 1 year, and I just want to continue with what I'm doing for 1 year. Well, I'd like to go longer, but I'm kind of curious where I'm going to end up being in 1 year. I've gone from shooting in a little studio space behind Smosh's area to a friend's detached two-car garage into my own shop that's 20 by 30. So, and that was last year. So I'm kind of curious. I'm just going to stay the course and keep doing my thing, yeah, see where it takes me.
Cool. Well, you guys have any other questions?
I think I got them in.
All right. Well, thank you very much for giving us insight.
Hey, you're very
Appreciate
welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome.
Yay!
Hey.
And then I'll fade to black.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if that
As
thing's
we
still
also work on-
recording.
Sure.